Today I'm going to be talking about a book I finished reading a few days back. The book is called Don Quixote by Cervantes. The book is written in the 17th century, so it has a lot of references of the earth from that time, and it's a very long book. It took me about 25 days to finish it. I know that's a horribly long time, but obviously because I finished it, it has to be worth its time. If you know about Mobi format, it is about 16 to 17,000 units of a Mobi book format. Or you can say, if you have Audible, it's about 40 hours long. I'm not trying to scare you off, but I'm just trying to tell you what a momentous feat it was for me to finish this book. And obviously, I'm going to be talking about the story. Give me a moment, because people in my house have no manners and they're very loud all the time. And that's because I have a lot of... So like I was saying, the book is about a man, Don Quixote. He has christened himself as Don Quixote henceforward. He's about 50 years of age, and he has read many books on knights and chivalry and warriors and kingdoms and men full of ardor and valor. And there are so many books that have been stored in his mind. He has read them back and forth. Throughout the book, he keeps referencing them. That he decides that his life will be incomplete if he doesn't give knight errantry a try. What is knight errantry? Knight errantry is basically him being a vagabond. He leaves his home with an oldish horse, and he embarks at once, and he says, wherever I go, I will see if there's some injustice being done. I shall come to those people's rescue. If there is anything that is happening that is unjust, I will be the person who will bring justice to those people. And so on. There are so many beautiful words and language used in this book. A lot of Latin is there. Very few Spanish is still there, even though this is a translation. And then you are introduced to his sidekick, Sancho Panza. He is a sidekick like no other. He is a fat, somewhat proud man who is willing to be very servile, but at the same time he wants something in return. And he at once believes Don's vocation so wholeheartedly that he decides to become his squire, his second in command. But he doesn't have a horse. He has a donkey. So they go out into the world through woods and forests, and they come across an inn. An inn is like a hotel or a bar that has a place for some people to stay. And immediately Don Quixote goes like, that's a castle. He is somewhat deranged in his mind and his way of looking at life. He's a bit delusional. If whatever he sees, he believes, he believes it to be something else. He doubts people's motives a lot, but he never ever loses one thing about him, which is his composure and respect for fellow men. He's very respectful, and he gives a lot of denunciation that if you don't follow my opinion, I will fight thee until death do us part. So he's not very equipped with a very good physique or anything of that, or youth, or even for that matter, he's not a very good swordsman. But he is scared of nobody, and he only worships to one God, and he only kneels to one God, and he believes in Christianity. So there's a lot of virtue in this man, even though he is delusional and he is not exactly sure about why he is doing this knight errantry. So a little further down the road, you find that he's in love with this lady, Dulcinea of Toboso, and he is the famous knight Don Quixote of La Mancha. And I know it's not making a lot of sense right now to you guys, but trust you me, through those pages of the book, you can't help but wonder what's going to happen next. And by the end of the book, I realized I am Don Quixote. So that's unique, right? You're reading a big ass book about some guy who's actually delusional, but at the same time he has so much virtue, and he's looking for something, and he knows it exists, but does it really exist? And I realized that I'm so much like him, and that was something which made a lot of sense to me. So the book is long, yes. 60% of you will give up before you finish it, should you ever embark on it. I strongly recommend you do that, yes you. And I just found it refreshing. I think it has added a whole array of new words to my vocabulary. I feel as though I traveled through Europe, especially Spain. I feel like I understood that culture of 16th century better. And I feel it was real enrichment of one's own, mental habitat. And I mean, I'd heard a lot about this book, but I was not sure what to expect. And it's nothing like what I expected it to be. And I don't even know why I like this book. I can't put it in words. I think it's because of how much I relate with Don Quixote. And he's such a likable character. Having said that, the book has a lot of dark forces behind it. It has well-conceived dark humor, but there is a lot of dark humor in this book because it feels like a big joke on you, on him, on me, on everyone. It feels like an enchantment. There I said it, the word enchantment. You will remember this word. So there you have it, guys. Don Quixote, I give it 8 out of 10. It's that damn good a book. I felt the language really flows very well. And even though I'm 35, I think it's not too late to read this book. And I'm very happy I embarked on this journey. And it was worth it the 25 days I spent. I attacked the book both on my Kindle as well as on Audible. So when I was driving, I would be listening to it. At gym, sometimes I would listen to it every day. I would go for a walk and I would be listening to it. And sometimes I thought, what am I doing, man? Is this really worth my time? But now I can tell you that it was definitely worth my time. Else I would be here with a negative feedback or negative review for the book. Alright guys, this is a very different book review, but I just wanted to get it done because I think things you do in life imperfectly are better than things you never do but just talk about doing. So Don Quixote by Cervantes is a must read. And so far it is my book of the year. This was the 6th book I read in 2020. Today is 27th Feb. Presently I'm reading 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene. It's a non-fiction. And I'm reading one more book. I forgot the name. I'll probably write it down somewhere. I'm reading Tom Hanks's book. It's called something. I'm reading a book by Tom Hanks. It's a collection of short stories. And I'm reading 33 Strategies of War. And there you have it, guys. Thank you for watching my book review. I hope you liked it. I hope you get something out of it. So long.